Have you ever felt just completely burned out by work? You know that feeling, right? Emotionally drained, totally used up, with absolutely nothing left in the tank? Well, you are so far from alone. Okay, let's get into this, because what we're looking at is a massive problem and a pretty wild, very controversial technological solution. So, get this. According to the Society for Human Resource Management, a staggering 44% of U.S. employees say they feel burned out. That's almost half the workforce, just struggling to keep up. And this isn't something you just leave at the office. No way. This stress, it bleeds into every part of our lives. A massive 83% of workers say that burnout is messing with their personal relationships. So yeah, what we're seeing is a full-blown epidemic. Companies are in a tough spot, facing a crisis of well-being, productivity, you name it. And you better believe they are desperately looking for a fix. And this is the question that has launched a billion-dollar industry. What if an AI could, monitor our feelings, detect stress, and step in before we totally hit a wall? I mean, it sounds pretty good on the surface, but it opens up a whole can of worms. The technology at the very heart of this whole thing is called emotion AI. And the big promise is that it can give employers a window, a direct look into the emotional state of their team. But how in the world does it even begin to do that? Okay, so the official fancy term is affective computing. But at its core, it's a branch of AI research that's all about trying to decode the most human thing about us, our feelings. The big goal here is to create systems that can recognize and respond to our emotions just like another person would. So how does this stuff actually work? Well, here's a simple breakdown. It's basically a three-step process. First step, data collection. Think wearable gadgets, maybe even a headset that reads your brainwaves, just gathering up all those raw biological signals. Second, feature extraction. This is where the algorithms get to work, kind of like detectives, sifting through all that data to find specific patterns that scientists think are linked to certain emotions. And finally, you've got classification. The AI takes those patterns and makes a call, sorting them into big buckets like positive, negative, or neutral. So it seems like a pretty powerful tool for well-being, right? But when researchers started interviewing the actual workers using this stuff, a really different picture started to emerge. A picture where this tech comes at a pretty steep personal cost. This quote from one of the people in the study just hits the nail on the head. It draws this perfectly clear line between choosing to share how you feel and being forced into surveillance. It's the difference between someone asking you how you are and a machine just taking that information from you. And this feeling has actually led researchers to create a brand new term, emotional privacy. It's this idea that we all have a fundamental right to keep our inner emotional world to ourselves. It's a boundary, and emotion AI just walks right over it. And here's the really crucial part. The AI isn't truly understanding you, not even close. Research shows its limits are pretty serious. It has no emotional depth. It completely misses sarcasm or cultural nuance. It gets nonverbal signals wrong all the time. So for the person being monitored, it doesn't feel like being understood. It feels like being misjudged by a machine. And that just makes you feel frustrated and alienated. This brings us to a deeply ironic, almost funny potential for harm. The very act of being monitored for anger could itself make you angry and stressed out. I mean, as this person points out, just knowing a machine is watching to see if you're angry is probably enough to make your blood pressure spike. A tool that's supposed to help with wellness could actually become a whole new source of stress. Now, these concerns aren't just philosophical chats for a coffee break. They're creating some serious legal and societal risks. And for companies that choose to ignore them, that could be a very expensive mistake. So here's the bottom line. Your emotional data isn't just up for grabs. Whether we're talking about your voice patterns, your facial expressions, your brainwaves, if it can be linked back to you, it's legally considered personal data. And that means it's protected under major privacy laws like the GDPR in Europe and a growing list of laws right here in the US. This means for any company even thinking about using this tech, the legal bar is incredibly high. They have to give you a super clear privacy notice spelling out exactly what they're collecting and why. They have to collect the absolute bare minimum of data needed. And this is the big one. In many cases, they need to get your explicit opt-in consent. This isn't something they can just hide in page 47 of the employee handbook. So all of this brings us to the biggest question of all. Let's just say we could solve all the privacy and legal headaches. Is this technology actually helping us achieve what we really want? Is it actually helping us to live better, fuller lives? Researchers in this space have a great term for that goal. They call it human flourishing. And it's not just about not being burned out. It's about a whole state of well-being that includes happiness, having a sense of purpose, being healthy, having good relationships, and being financially stable. I mean, that's what we're all really aiming for, right?
So, how does AI actually do when we test it on these deeper topics? Well, this data is pretty fascinating. Researchers tested AI on questions all about human flourishing, and look at the difference. For objective, fact based stuff like finances, the AI scores a really high 86%. But when you get into the subjective, the really personal questions about meaning and relationships, its performance just tanks. The takeaway is crystal clear. AI is great with facts, but it really struggles with the messy, complex reality of what it actually means to be human.
Ultimately, if we really want to improve well-being, we can't just look at our biology in a vacuum. As one research paper puts it so well, we also have to think about the impact of the artificial world we create for ourselves. All the technology, the systems, the workplaces, these things are now a fundamental part of our health. And so that leaves us with this final, really critical question. We are building AI that is designed to understand us on a deeply personal level. The challenge here isn't just about getting the tech right or making it legal. It's about us deciding what we truly value. As this technology keeps evolving, what do we actually want it to learn about being human?